All right, this just in right now. President Biden is expected to announce that the U.S. and France have secured a ceasefire deal in Lebanon. Now, under this agreement, a ceasefire would be implemented as early as today. And this will put an end to the deadliest war in Lebanon since the Lebanese Civil War ended in 1990. The developments happening very quickly right here. CBS News contributor Robert Berger is in Jerusalem and joins us now with the very latest. Robert, obviously a huge announcement we're still waiting for. What can we expect? I mean, is this ceasefire permanent?
Well, it's a 60-day ceasefire, so no, I wouldn't say that it's permanent. We are expecting Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to make an announcement in about an hour to the nation to announce that a ceasefire deal has been reached. And then a couple of hours later, President Biden is due to announce that. So what we're hearing from U.S. officials is that there would be a gradual Israeli withdrawal of its ground forces in South Lebanon over a period of 60 days, beginning in about 10 days from now. Some Israeli forces would withdraw, and then the Lebanese army would fill that security vacuum.
So what does that look like on the ground? Is it as simple as just Israeli forces leave the area and people are allowed to go back to their homes? As simple as that?
It's not so simple. It'll take time, which is why you have this 60-day window, but it's a gradual pullout. And then when the Israelis pull out, the Lebanese army would move into those areas. You also have UNIFIL, which is the UN peacekeeping force in South Lebanon. They're going to be there. And the hope is that there won't be anything to blow this agreement up. Hezbollah is also supposed to withdraw its forces from South Lebanon, about 18 miles north of the Israeli border.
So talk a little bit about the significance of this ceasefire deal brokered between the U.S. and France and what this means for the conflict over there.
Well, it's a big deal. I mean, the war has been going on since the war in Lebanon since October 8th, the day after the Hamas terrorist attack, which means over a year. And there's been daily barrages of rockets on northern Israel. 60,000 people have moved out of their homes there. And of course, about the same amount, maybe more, out of South Lebanon when the Israeli army has stepped up its bombing campaign and moved it all the way to Beirut. So you have over 1 million displaced in Lebanon, according to Lebanese officials. So the hope is that this is the beginning of some stability here in what has been a turbulent Middle East.
And can you talk a little bit about what this conflict has done to the region around Beirut in Lebanon? We know thousands of people have died. There have been daily attacks on that region. What does the area look like now after this conflict?
Well, South Beirut, the Dakia neighborhood, which is a Hezbollah stronghold, is really in ruins. Now, the Israelis say that Hezbollah had all kinds of infrastructure there, including weapons. The Israelis have also hit financial institutions, banks run by Hezbollah. So it's really it's mass devastation in that part of Beirut. And then here on the Israeli side of the border, also just mass devastation. It's going to take a long time to rebuild, really, on both sides of the border.
So what does this mean for the other conflict in Gaza? Is this sort of the first step towards total peace within the region, at least temporarily?
That's the hope. You get Lebanon out of the way, and now Hamas is really isolated, which it hasn't been. I mean, Hamas really was hoping to see a major regional war. It came close because Israel and Iran have also clashed. But now you have Hezbollah, which is backed by Iran. They're backing out. They're no longer linking their fight against Israel to Hamas. So Hamas is really on its own right now, and maybe it will be more inclined to make a deal to see the release of those 100 Israeli hostages still held there.
Now, I'm curious, with a ceasefire like this, after this agreement is made, does the work then really begin to broker some sort of permanent deal?
Well, in Lebanon, this isn't a peace agreement. And the concern among, let's say, the Israelis who are thinking about going back to their homes is that Hezbollah hasn't really, they've been crippled, but they haven't been wiped out. And we saw an agreement back in 2006 after the Second Lebanon War with the same idea that UNIFIL, the UN force, and Lebanese army were supposed to prevent Hezbollah from rearming there. Well, that didn't happen. So we're not talking about a peace deal, but maybe a ceasefire. The one in 2006 lasted for it lasted until for about 18 years. So maybe you'll get a period of calm.
And I'm curious how this impacts the U.S. relationship with Iran as well, given the status of these two conflicts, one that which may be paused with a ceasefire agreement.
Well, Iran and Israel were on the brink, really, of a major war. Israel last hitting Iran a few weeks ago and knocking out some of their air defenses. Now, with Hezbollah going for a ceasefire with Iranian backing, maybe tensions between Israel and Iran will also diminish. But with the Trump administration coming in, I think the Iranians have been quite worried, considering that the officials that President-elect Trump is appointing are pretty hawkish on Iran.
And do you think that with President-elect, once he is inaugurated and he is officially the president, that's going to impact the outcome of this deal?
Yeah, I mean, the question is what kind of policy is the U.S. going to adopt toward Iran? The Biden administration tried to negotiate with Iran. They let up on some sanctions. The feeling is that the U.S. is going to take a tougher line on Iran, but also in an attempt to push it back to the negotiating table and maybe prevent its a rush really toward a nuclear weapon. They've been enriching uranium really up to close to weapons grade.
All right, Robert Berger, thank you so much for that insight, and we'll be right back. We're watching CBS News 24/7.